Hello. Welcome to the BenAF podcast. I'm your host, BenAF. This is a very special episode, very special edition of Top 10 Tuesdays because it's actually happening on a Thursday. Also, another specialty, MomAF is here. Go ahead and say hi, MomAF.
Hello, everyone.
Actually, that's something we need to iron out. Do you want to be called MomAF or DNAF or what?
I'm good with mom. It doesn't matter.
MomAF, yeah. Because it shows what's important is that she's my mom.
Yeah.
That's what's important.
That's me.
So, do you know what today's episode's about?
I think it's about something called Benisms.
Yes, it is something that I made up because it's fun. But these are basically just 10 quotes that I kind of live my life by that I made up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm interested in what they are.
Of course you're interested. I'm a very interesting person.
Anyway.
Jeez, I started my own podcast, man. I'm an interesting dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want these to come off as preachy or anything. I don't want these to come off as judgmental. That's why I have a partner in here to question me on everything. Because, I don't want all my philosophies to come out in a bubble and not be challenged. Until they come out to you guys and you guys start commenting on everything. I'm like, oh, God. But we're going to start off with number 10, the man in the mirror principle. Which is basically just saying no one likes a hypocrite.
Okay.
So that basically just means, like, whenever I start to make a comment on something that I want to change, I usually start out with myself. Because I don't ever want the criticism of, hey, like, you're not doing it, blah, blah. Because that's always, like, the first thing that people say.
For example, do you have an example?
Sorry if you heard a cut there. I had to yell at my mom again because she just, I don't know what she's doing sometimes. What is she doing?
Wow. Who's yelling at their mom? That's what I want to know.
Jeez, you guys missed like a 10-minute conversation about whose podcast this was.
Man in the mirror. Man in the mirror. Y'all remember that? Hypocrite.
Oh. Such a crybaby.
Get on with it. What was your example about how you don't ask things of other people that you aren't willing to do or look into yourself?
Well, like, so recently, I've been doing a lot more empathetic things, like trying to. Maybe you threw me on the spot here, okay? Gosh, what do you want me to say?
I don't know. Just give me an example. If you don't have one, it's cool. We can go on.
Yeah, like that was all it was. It was just
okay.
like I don't want to make a change without trying to make it myself first.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Cause like there's so many times like where I'll try to do things with you guys and you're like, well, why don't you do it first? I'm like, I have. And like you guys like immediately be quiet because you know who's right.
Yeah, we're immediately quiet.
You know who the man is.
Because we don't want to, encourage any more talk about it. So what's number 9?
Yeah, they keep calling me out for being all talk and no play, but then I'm playing all the time. So they're like, oh crap, I guess now I can call you guys out for being like, you guys have like trash around and stuff like that because I clean my room.
Yeah, finally. Oh my gosh, y'all. We don't want to talk about this room. It was like an episode of Hoarders Buried Alive. But to Ben's credit, he decided that he was tired of the mess and got it cleaned up. I'm proud. What can I say? All right, next.
That's bad if a story ever starts out by like I was inspired by hoarders. All right, number 9. Another person's path to success is all their own, and while yours may look similar, so is yours.
What?
Basically, like, so whenever I started this, I kind of started looking at other people's rises. I'm just like, oh man, I wish I had like a super fast rise. But basically, it's just saying that every person's road to success is their own. So you shouldn't compare yours against it. Even if they look a little similar, yours is still your own unique road.
Oh, okay. You said while yours may look similar, so is yours.
I said while yours may look similar. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I get it. So every path to success is unique, and don't expect your experience to be like anybody else's.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where I expect the people listening to have a certain high IQ. All my listeners have very high IQs, but I think on your end, you may have like not been able to process such a genius comment.
Who are you talking to?
Who am I looking at? I'm looking at you.
I don't think you're talking to me.
I'm talking to you.
Because first of all,
what
do you think you got your high IQ?
My father.
No. That's not to say your father doesn't have a high IQ, but mine is higher.
Wow.
No shade, Roy. No shade.
Wow. We're going to have like a battle of the intellects later. Why not?
Anyway, so I think it's interesting too about that one is that a lot of times you don't hear about people until they are successful and or famous or in the public eye. And so people don't get to see their struggles. You know?
Yeah. Because like there's like tons of times like where like you only know the success part of the story, and then you're just like, well, how'd they get there? And it's like that story's like way just it's a bunch of just like pulling yourself up by your bootstrap.
Yes, being told no, but still coming back, not quitting, failing so many times, or what people would say is failure, but actually what they were doing was learning another way that
The microphone's
wasn't
been off the entire time.
necessarily successful. That's not.
Dang it! I thought I could trick her. Sorry.
Yeah, I can see.
Thought I could get you.
So anyway.
I mean, that could have been like just recording from my laptop though.
Yeah. No. Okay. What's next?
Number 8, resilience and not defense wins championships.
Okay. What does that mean? Clarify.
Well, because the adage in all sports is basically defense wins championships. Because like there's been so many examples of a high scoring offense getting to the Super Bowl or the World Series or whatever, and just getting decimated because things get tougher in the playoffs. Like you know your opponent more, and those gimmick plays on offense don't work, but defense always does. And then my point is it's not a great defense that wins championships. It's resilience in the team. Like the ability to get punched in the face and then immediately get right back up and be like, okay, what do we need to do?
So not quitting.
Yeah.
Not giving up.
Because like I think the best example of that was 5 years ago in the Super Bowl when it was the Broncos versus the Seahawks, and the Broncos got decimated. They got destroyed, man. They got crushed. It was just like, wait, what happened? Like they're the best offense ever. I was literally looking at a list on a Bleacher Report of like the top 10 offenses since 2000. All of them, none of them won the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Yep, most of them got beat in the Super Bowl.
Incredible.
It's because defense wins championships. Those plays, they just don't work in the Super Bowl. They just don't.
So how does that translate to real life?
Well, in real life, they've done studies where they looked at successful people and tried to find the traits that match up between them, and the one that's the best indicator for success is resilience.
Oh, kind of like that saying, it's not the swift or the strong, but he that endures to the end.
Yeah.
It's not, those things win the race. Just not giving up.
There's a ridiculous amount of quotes that basically just are saying the same thing.
That's a Bible
Like,
quote, by the way.
yeah.
Bible scripture.
But like nice guys finish last. I feel like that's another one that kind of it's the guy who endures the most ends up finishing.
Oh, finish last is not a good thing.
Well, if you're a nice guy, it is, you know.
Finishing is a good thing.
finish
Finishing last is not a
Oh my
good thing.
gosh. Oh, so you take away from that quote, you're supposed to be an angry guy?
No, the quote is saying that they don't get far because they're nice. It's like a slam.
Well, I'm sorry that we're all such nice guys. That's actually another way to look at that quote.
Oh,
That's a really good way to look at that quote.
okay. All right. I'm just saying,
Interesting.
But you know what? I married a nice guy. Very nice guy. So
yeah, because
you're
like
a nice guy.
because I've been trying to be nice, but I've also been trying to like put my foot down a lot and like getting things done.
Well,
It's like I'm like, because I didn't write this one down, but like probably like number one to my philosophy is be empathetic, show empathy to anyone, and then but if you don't get that same empathy in return, take it away.
ooh, wow.
Because like that's my philosophy is just like show niceness to people, and like if they're nice to you back, that's great, cool. Like we can all be nice together, but if they don't, cut them off.
Ooh, okay.
Because they don't deserve your niceness if they're not willing to give it back to you.
Well, as long as you're not being mean to them in return, I can see just withholding. Some people you get along best with keeping at a distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that one.
Like you.
Yeah,
That's why I kept you off the podcast for so long.
Anyway,
You know,
what's next?
she's actually been trying to get on for weeks. We like the negotiations I talked about on that little update episode.
Lies.
Yeah,
Lies.
it's more like she's been bugging us.
Fake news.
BenAF Enterprises.
Where is the truth?
All right, 7. Men are born with 2 heads, but only one brain.
Crickets.
What do you mean crickets?
This is not. What?
What?
Oh my God. Okay, please clarify this one. What do you mean?
Guys.
Yeah.
Have a pee-pee.
I get that.
That's the cleverness of this quote.
Really?
Got 2 heads. Yes.
That's clever?
Yeah.
Except in one what? Brain?
Except we only got one brain, yeah.
Yeah, what does that mean?
There are so many... Guys, you know what I'm talking about. There are so many decisions that you made because you're pee-pee that you end up regretting later because you're just like, oh my God, like that's all I was doing that for.
So is this a remake of the think with your big head that women say to men, not the little head?
Yes.
Okay, I get it.
Like really, this episode could just be 10 quotes that Ben stole without knowing and then like rewrote.
Kind of like books that people make. Like, are there any new self-help topics? Aren't they all just kind of restating or reframing the same ideas?
Yeah, there's only so many times you can break down someone and then make up something new.
Yeah. Like, this is clever. All right.
Yeah,
I'm on board.
I'm a clever guy.
All right, what's next?
Number 6, it's not up to me to decide which of my ideas are impossible.
That's deep.
I just gotta test them out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's profound, isn't it?
So I think what you're saying is if you have a good idea, try it out. Try out all the ideas. And the ones that make it or last or, stand the test of time are successful were the good ideas. Huh?
That's yeah. See, that's why my mom's really here. She's here to interpret it for all you slow people.
Ha! Oh my God! Don't take offense. He called me slow too.
She's here to make me sound smarter than I really sound sometimes.
Well, I have this way of kind of restating things myself. So, and I do this thing about likes and comparisons.
So recently I called her out for always trying to compare things to other things. And then like we had like a little game where it was basically just you got a point for every time you did something that like everyone else already knows you're going to do.
But I didn't know that about myself. It's just the way that I think. It helps me better understand if I can bring it to my level and make it sort of a shared experience like, oh, I've experienced something similar, XYZ. And, then I get it.
Yeah, and it's like it helped me better understand why you do some of the things that you do. Because sometimes, like, I'm just like, no, that's not what I felt.
Yeah, it's just the way that I process information.
Yeah.
I wonder if teachers think that way, because I do, even though I'm not a teacher by trade, I consider myself a teacher. So sometimes you have learners who learn different ways, right? There's people who learn best by seeing, people who learn best by doing. So everybody doesn't understand things on the same level.
Like that's the interesting thing is that like, because now like when like I've noticed like I've talked to my friends and texted them and stuff like that, I do that recontextualization. Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
Like it's like where like you're saying in a different way, but like it provide context to like more like a wider audience.
Like conceptualization.
Yeah, and it's like I do that with my friends all the time. I'm just like, man, like this is really effective if the other person doesn't know what you're doing.
See?
Yeah, see? It's like that was the problem though, is that like I knew that's what you were doing, and like it like messed with me because I was just know. Like, because I was like I see myself doing this, like this is a tactic that I use that I learned from her.
Yeah, and see, because I've had teachers, of course we all have if you've gone through school, but I've had teachers who probably shouldn't be able to teach because nobody really understood, and it wasn't because they didn't grasp the subject, but they weren't good at teaching it or explaining it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the value in a teacher. I've also had many wonderful teachers throughout my career, and if I start naming names, I'll get in trouble. But
yeah, no, don't name any names.
Yeah, okay.
Because then all the other teachers will be like, "What? I'm trash."
What? She left me out. What? I'm no good. Okay. Yeah.
So here's my narcissist quote of the week.
Okay.
It has been the job of the important influences of time. What?
You don't understand your own quote?
Yeah, man. I like wrote this. Basically, it's not up to the important people of history to understand their place. That's the job of historians.
I'm gonna need you to fix that and come back with it at another time.
I know.
That could be tidy. I like it.
It is. Like I got like a bunch, because like when I was thinking of this episode, I came up with 5 new ones. I was like, wait, I've been writing BS quotes forever. Let me just go steal those.
Exactly.
And I guess I did not look at it. Because see, that's if I ever do writing, I need an editor.
Those are the
I
ramblings.
need an editor so bad.
Of night, Ben.
Like that's why I need you, because like you can help me just because usually my ideas are pretty good. I just don't have like a good way of like
translating.
Yeah,
making it translatable, making it where other people can identify with it.
Because guys, like I'm really good at learning different languages, but I suck at grammar. I'm terrible at grammar. Like during the SAT, like that was always the part I scored lowest on. Yeah, like I always had like a really good score for math and reading, but then when it came to grammar, I always scored the lowest on that.
Wow. Huh. Yeah. Okay.
All right, number 4. Patch of dirt. Oh, so here's my quote on immigration. Well, no, it's more just like, okay, it's not what patch of dirt you were born on or the ethnicity of the people you were born to, nor is it the heritage from which you came that makes you an American. It's the unwavering belief that the Constitution is the one universal truth.
Universal or American truth?
No, I'd say it's a...
I mean, but the Constitution is American. It's important.
Exactly, but I think for the most part it works everywhere. Okay. Where it's just like, yeah, like that's how a country should be run. Yeah. That's how our Constitution says it should be run.
I get it, and lately I have been struggling with the government with making decisions or being ran for the people, by the people, of the people.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like that. I feel like they make decisions that are in the best interest of themselves and of maybe the 1% who are most economically advantaged.
Yeah, like you know how like there's that thing where it's like the fourth estate or something. It's like the news. It's like the news is partially supposed to keep the government in check.
Yeah.
Like that's like the people are supposed to keep the government in check as well. We just haven't been doing our job lately.
No, we haven't. But having said that, let me commend the people for keeping the government and the police force more in check lately. It's kind of like we've been charged as a society now with policing the police.
Yeah.
Like the videos and things that are going on during the protest.
I mean, because like now you see like who actually holds the key to power in this country, where it's just like, oh, like when the people rise up, there's literally no one to stop them.
Yes. And the problem in the past is that we've been so divided. But now that more and more people are coming together for this good cause of ending police brutality, our voices are actually being heard and change is happening. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it's definitely very encouraging to see just how quickly people have had to respond, where it's just like, oh, and like every idiot who tries like, hey, like here's the distraction, everyone's like, shut up!
Yeah.
Shut the H up, you're done!
Yeah, exactly. That's good.
Here's number 3, my quote on old age. Don't put me down when I look old. Put me down when I act old.
Ooh, what's acting old?
All right, well, I don't want to start calling it out because I feel like you're going to be like, is that me? I'm just kidding. Because, like, it's not even, like, stuff like I'm forgetting things. It's just, like, if I ever get, like, super hostile to a new idea.
Like set in your ways, kind of old.
Yeah, like that, like.
Like you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
That's exactly what I was going to say, but then my brain was like, I forgot the quote. So now I'm just going to stammer here. What am I trying to say?
No, I get it. And I'm reminded of someone like an older person or couple that I know who votes straight ticket. And if that's you, I didn't mean to step on your toes, but you gotta do some research. You gotta change with the times. And if the people in charge are not serving us well, it's time that they be replaced. I hate to keep making this about politics, but those are the examples that I can think of.
This is not a political podcast. We're gonna have to ask you to come on a later date. We'll see you later.
I know, but what I'm emphasizing most is at this time, it's always been important, but this time more than ever, it's time to vote. Not just in the 2020, the national elections, but locally, let's have our voices heard.
I think that's why this protest movement is taken on. So it's like a new level, is because it seems like it's above politics, where it's just like, oh wait, like yeah, like
it's about human life.
Well, like it's finally kind of like, because like the biggest hurdle towards like empathy is just like the feeling like that could never happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
And like now there's like a clear feeling of like, oh wait, if it can happen to them, it can happen to all of us.
Yes. Okay. And I'm a little bit ashamed that it took something like the 75-year-old protester getting pushed down by the police and walked over for people to say, oh my God, or the lady in the park with the dog that was calling the police on the African-American man who was bird watching, who didn't have her dog on the leash. People were as upset, if not more, about her jerking up that dog than they were about this man, about her calling the police for no good reason on this man. But whatever it takes, there's something called an empathy gap. And what it basically means is that it's hard for people to have empathy for someone who doesn't look like them. So, if the people look like us are getting treated poorly by society, by the police, getting marginalized in areas such as healthcare and life, we're upset, we're outraged. But it took something like the incidents that are going on recently and during the protests for everybody, or for a lot more people, to get upset. I'm happy they're on board. I'm happy you're on board. I'm happy you're joining us. But everybody should be upset when people are treated unfairly and poorly.
Yeah.
Because it could be you, could be me.
Well, because like the thing you said about the dog, it's because like I think it's like the young, the elderly, and dogs are the ones that people are just like, don't mess with them.
Protected
like
class.
there's no empathy for you if you mess with these three like protected classes. Like you just can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you mess with someone's pet, no one has empathy for you. You mess with someone's kid, no one has empathy for you. You mess with someone's grandpa or elderly father, no one has sympathy for you.
Yeah, that's right. So now everybody's outraged, and I'm glad it's the place we should be in.
Yeah. All right, so here's number 2. I'm a big believer in the idea that if something you want doesn't exist, make it. Which is exactly how I did with this podcast, because there aren't enough, 20-year-olds babbling about nonsense. And it wasn't me. Even if there was a 20-year-old who sounds exactly like me and does everything like me that babbles on the internet.
It wasn't you. It needed to be you. It needed to be you. Yeah, I hear that.
I was just like, nah, it's still not me. I need to go ahead and do my own thing.
I mean, I'm your mom, and I don't want to brag or whatever, but you do have really good ideas. And one thing that your family has consistently said is that we love to hear you talk, because you know a lot about a lot of topics, and it's always interesting, even if the topic per se isn't interesting to me. Wow. I love to hear your take on it, because I love to hear you talk about this thing. So it's really cool. That's good.
Yeah, thank you, Mom.
You're welcome. I support you.
I love you.
I love you.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, you guys should see like the hostility of what she's looking at me. Like it's like the only thing protecting me is this microphone.
They can hear the smile in my voice. So onward.
Yeah. Hey, that should have been a quote. Maybe I'll make another one of these.
Momisms.
No.
Come on.
Oh my gosh.
Things your mom would say.
How about when I get successful enough, I'll just give you your own podcast.
Okay.
Cool. Because I like having MomAF on the show, but man, I'm just like, she needs her own show. She clearly has her own opinion. She needs her own show. All right, so number 1, this is not a quote from me, but this is a quote that I definitely live my life by, and it is better to be an honest street sweeper than a dishonest king.
Tell me about that.
Well,
first of all, who said it?
I don't. It's one of those quotes that's just attributed to no one.
Oh, okay.
Because like it's literally just been around since like, the beginning of time. But like it's probably some dinosaur like messing around, or like that like 1,000 monkeys typing thing, and like just eventually you'll get Shakespeare written if you have 1,000 monkeys typing. You give them enough time. That's probably what happened with the dinosaur. Like a dinosaur just kicked up some dust, and someone saw him, was like, whoa.
Probably.
But it's how I live my life, because I would so much rather be an unsuccessful dude who spoke his mind than someone who was like a billionaire and just felt constrained. It was just like I can't say what I really want.
Ooh, that reminds me of another quote. Wasn't it Shakespeare? Was it Shakespeare who said, "To thine own self be true"? I could be. That's probably not him. Let me look it up real quick. Oh my God!
Don't be that dude. Don't be that dude who like comes in and is just like, "Hey, Shakespeare. Hey, Shakespeare said something like that. I think Shakespeare said something like that, guys." Hey guys, I know what you said's really cool, but I think Shakespeare said it before.
Oh my God, okay, it's Patrick Doyle. Sorry, Patrick Doyle said, "To thine own self be true," but look, I caught it.
See, that's the problem with all these Shakespeare fans. They start attributing stuff that has nothing to do with Shakespeare to Shakespeare.
Oh, wait.
And like even now, she's probably like, I'm pretty sure Shakespeare influenced him.
Okay, he did, because Patrick Doyle is a music artist, and that's a song. Come on, internet. Why are you failing me? Come through, Google.
Dude, I think Google's trying to tell you something. It's, hey, hop off the Shakespeare bandwagon. He ain't it.
Okay, turns out I was right. It was Shakespeare. It was William Shakespeare. So, yeah, you can edit that other stuff out or not.
Shakespeare may not even have been one person.
Yeah.
I might have to do like 10 conspiracies.
Okay.
But Shakespeare may not even been one. He might have been a woman. It might have been like 7 people. We don't even know if he was one dude.
Okay, so the point is, if you're being true to yourself, I think that there's a lot of happiness to be found in that. You know, who cares what other people think of you? Their opinions of you are not what's important, and they're none of your business. It's what you think of yourself. And at the end of the day, being true to yourself is what's going to bring you the most satisfaction.
Like if everyone liked me and like I hated the stuff that I was putting out,
Right.
I'd probably crash and
Don't
burn.
be a sellout.
I think I've done that before.
Probably.
Where I was like, hey, everyone likes me, but I hate myself.
I'm sure we could come up with examples. That's good. I like them.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome.
I really appreciate that. You have a genius as a... If you noticed a cut there, it's because I used my mom's kayfabe name. I had to cut it out. Her kayfabe name. She started crying about it. She was like, where'd you go with that? Where'd you, mama? Yeah, man.
All right. So, yeah, as I was saying, those are good. Those are good Benisms. See, when I hear Benisms, I actually think of things you're famous for saying or things we know that you say all the time.
Oh, yeah. One day this will be like a book. It'll be like a coffee book that I make like millions of dollars off of because I'm like super famous.
I hear you. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. We will have our producer or agents contact each other again. I really enjoyed you having on the podcast.
I like the collab. Thanks.
And thank you guys for listening. I'll see you next week or something. Actually, I need another episode this week, but whatever. See you guys later.